I'm just gonna do it all over again. And my editor always laughs because he's like, I want to put that in for the bloopers.
I think you should.
Well, we will, because my video editor loves to just make me look like a fool.
Great.
Hi, Chris.
The sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow, yo.
Welcome back to the Road to Self-Love. It's your boy Paul Fishman, self-love coach and you do you activist, here today with my now best friend who I'm about to kidnap.
Yep.
Danika Brysha.
Hello.
How do you want the people to know you?
I really like to share, so I strive to live the life of my dreams and lead by example. I'm really into the idea of lifestyle design, of getting clear on what do I want my life to look like, or what do I think might be cool that I want to try out. Let's
travel back in time. I want the people to know. I want them to know like who you are, because, well, here's the thing. I'm really passionate about detaching like the what you do from the who you are, but it's also important to know what you do. You have this awesome company called Model Meals, but you also are just like a badass, like just body empowerment lady, right?
I like that word, lady.
I mean,
I haven't had self-love for the majority of my life. I struggled a lot growing up. I was a bigger girl. I struggled with disordered eating. I spent most of my young adult life fighting with my body because I thought I never saw anyone in the media that looked like me. I never thought I was good enough. I didn't have guys that were interested in me. So I decided, like, I'm gonna be the funny friend. I'm gonna keep everyone else happy. I'm gonna be a people pleaser, whatever it is, so that people like me. Because if people like me and I'm nice to people, then they'll be nice to me and I won't get hurt. And it was like this whole like protection mechanism. I decided really young, because what the media told me would make me happy is to be skinny and beautiful and celebrated for that. I decided I want to be a model. And if I could just be a model someday, then everything's gonna work out and I'm gonna be happy. And so that became my passion. So that just led me into a deeper disordered eating path, and finally got to this place when I was just like, screw it. I have put so much energy into this mission of weight loss, and more or less I'm the same size, and it hasn't really taken anywhere. I'm just gonna surrender. A couple months after that, I was at Bank of America in Los Angeles, and I had some agents come up to me, they owned an agency, and they came up and said, hey, have you ever thought about doing plus size modeling? It was kind of like that slap in the face moment where God, or whatever you want to call it, the universe told me, all this time, had you just surrendered into who you already are, this dream could have come true. So I've been modeling for about 10 years. As a result of that, in the early stages, the modeling piece as a plus size model, it threw me into the space of body positivity. And so people were telling me I was a body positive icon and telling me I was this, you know, that way. And I sort of just embraced it, and it just sort of translated from that into self-care and entrepreneurship and all that. So many things you said, I was like, yes, yes, yes. The universe gave you essentially what you wanted. And I wish that it worked out that way. For me, like, I wanted to be the 6th member of NSYNC so bad, but it didn't happen. How did you really convince yourself to give into that, like to give into that surrender? It's an ongoing process, and I'm far from perfect at it, but I would say that it comes back to doing the work to be really in tune with your feelings and yourself. So I would say it comes back to these self-care practices. Self-love comes from self-care. So by taking actions of self-care, we're telling our subconscious that we are worth taking care of, and therefore we are worthy, and that is self-worth, self-love, self-worth, right? Meditation, journaling, going inward, quiet, rest, all these things that are so important to tune into how I feel and what I want. Those practices have given me a stronger understanding of my feelings, and my feelings or I shouldn't say my feelings, but my intuition, my gut. And when I follow that, I'm almost always guided in the right direction. The problem was that I was getting all those same signals before. I just was I didn't live in my body, I lived in my head. The way that I get connected with my body is I dance. Yes! Yes. I think that now is the perfect time for us to play our first road trip game of the morning. Say a celebrity name. So say you said Tom Cruise, and then I would have to say a celebrity name that started with the C, like hit the first letter of his last name, and you just go on and on and on. I've always won that game because I watched a lot of eating. Okay, great. Well, I want you to beat me in that game because that's one of the games that we play. Okay, perfect. It probably won't because I'm just like, well, Paul Fishman, he's the only celebrity I know. Ooh! Okay, I'll let you start. Okay, Mary-Kate Olsen.
Olivia Newton-John. J.
John Stamos.
Salma Hayek.
Halle Berry.
Bob Newport.
Nicole Kidman.
Kid Rock.
Reese Witherspoon.
I'm like Wilhelmina.
I think that's a person, but I don't know that's the last name.
Did I just lose?
There's a self-help center right there.
I think I lost.
You lost, sorry.
Okay, great. We haven't really talked anything about model meals.
Yeah.
I'd love to know like where that came from, because it doesn't feel as though it's like high level for you. It's like that's something that like, it's just kind of like something that happened. Everything
that I do plays into sort of this bigger picture vision of let me create tools, services, workshops, businesses, whatever it is, that all contribute to living your highest possible life. I was living in New York City. I'd moved there. I found something called the Whole30. It's like 30-day sort of reset. And I loved that it was about, for me, it was actually one of the greatest tools in my healing journey. That's not the case for everyone. Everyone's different with their food journeys and body stuff. It put my brain into a state that it had never been in before, because I eliminated things that were causing inflammation in my brain, essentially brain fog and up and down moods and all that sort of stuff. My brain became clear, and it gave me a mental clarity that allowed me to do the deeper inner work. And I couldn't see that stuff before because I was too foggy. I was like too disconnected. So the changing what I ate changed everything. It led me to this self-care journey. Everything that I do now is because I changed what I ate, and it led to all these other elements in my life. I changed what I ate, and then I eventually started losing weight, and I lost, it was the other side of the modeling world, right? So I lost most of my modeling jobs because I was no longer big enough anymore. I was kind of in the in-between. So I started cooking out of my apartment in New York and delivering it around New York, and making these Whole30 meals to people. I would deliver them to their houses, and I called it model meals because I wanted to be a model for how to live and eat cleaner. I wanted to like model it, and of course it has physical benefits as well, but it was really about the education piece, sharing recipes, all that. And so I got myself super into debt. I got about 6 figures in debt just living in New York. All of us, you know, I went from making 6 figures modeling to nothing overnight. It was like the phone stopped ringing. So I was working at a juice shop. I was renting my place on Airbnb on weekends and staying down the hall with the girl in my building, and just like doing anything I could to make some money. But eventually I was just in a bad spot, and I decided I have to move home with my parents at, you know, I was like 28 years old then. Moved home with my parents, brought on a business partner, got Model Mills up off the ground. Now I think we have about 30 employees there, and we opened 2 more states this year. So it's amazing. It is one of the main reasons that I can do everything that I do, is because I don't have to, I've automated food.
What type of community do you surround yourself with now? My
boyfriend is like such a big supporter for me. He is, I just talked about this the other day, because I have a lot of masculine energies to me. He has a lot of feminine, or traditionally feminine, you know, nurturing qualities, right? Nurturing and the communication and all that sort of stuff. And so he does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that doesn't get a lot of credit, but is necessary. The emotional support, or the taking care of the dog, or whatever it is. And then in terms of my community, I think we attract certain energies, right? So if you're vibrating at a certain frequency, you attract certain frequencies. And so I don't have people in my life who are talking shit about other people. I don't have people in my life, you know, I have, and that's not to say it's perfect, obviously, like we can't fully control that, but for the most part, I feel like I'm surrounded by people who are wellness focused, who are good, loving people. I try to surround myself in people that help me grow, and a lot of my time is spent in my community, you know, and it's women. It's we did 66 events on the road last year for women. I think everyone has something to offer everyone. You know, I can learn something from everyone, and everyone can learn something from me. If someone's listening to this and they're lacking that community, like where would this person go to find that community? Social media has been a great tool, and I think finding, like, say you put on an event, right? You know, people know that if you put on an event, these are people coming to it who want to have this self-love conversation. There's websites like Meetup, right? My whole thing is, I think the best thing that you can do is be the most authentic version of yourself. Work on yourself until you don't feel like you're wearing a mask. So now we're gonna play our next road trip game. And this is a game that I play with everyone. Great. We are going to play Fuck, Marry, Kill. I love this game. The Whole30. Oh my God. Plus size modeling. Oh my God. And empowerment events. You're welcome. Fuck Whole30. It's a great time, gives me great energy, don't have to do it all the time. Sadly, I would kill plus size modeling, and only because of the value on the external. I felt like it was based on essentially my shell. And then marry these empowerment events. It's connection, it's probably the most important thing, and it's the foundation of all those other things, right? It was hard, right?
It's really fun for me to make it really challenging. What does self-love mean to you?
Taking care of yourself. It's harder for some than others, but I still think it's possible. And so a lot of the people I work with are moms or nurses or people in the caregiving industry. Self-care can be 5 minutes a day. Self-care cultivates self-love. And I think self-love is just like the willingness to be aligned with you, the willingness to feel your feelings, to process your traumas, to make choices that might not be popular but are aligned with your authentic self.
I've done almost 50 of these, and there's never been a self-love definition that's the same. Where can everyone find you if they're just like so obsessed and just need more of Danika in their life?
So I do most of my stuff on social media, on Instagram, so it's just at Danika Brysha. And then I have Model Meals, which is at Model Meals. And then I have a new business launching, which I'm not gonna talk too much about, but it's definitely in the self-care, self-love space. So I do a lot of online groups that I try and make everything really accessible. And then my website is just danikabrysha.com or modelmeals.com. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on the road to self-love. And if you like this, please make sure to subscribe, rate and review the show, and make sure to follow Danika because she is worth it and she deserves it and she is not alone. We'll see you next time on the road to self-love, and I can't parallel park and do this. Bye!